Hi, and welcome to the best of the 2013 USU Soccer Show. I'm your host, Hillary Kennedy. In today's show, we're going to take a look back at some of this year's highlights and most talked about stories from the USU Soccer Show. Does the name Michelle French ring a bell? We've had some great stories this year, and I want to thank our viewers for sending us your suggestions about people in your communities making a difference. Let's kick things off by hearing about a Top Soccer program in Snohomish, Washington. Top Soccer is a USU soccer program offered nationwide for athletes with special needs, so let's check it out.
There was this young gentleman in the older group who has pretty severe autism. And when I first met him, he came and he was holding two stuffed animals. And he would play kind of, but he was kind of, just off in his own world. But at the end of the season, when they were playing against the varsity girls from the high school, he was off taking a water break, and he saw that the girls were about to get on his team's goal, and he turned around and he yells, "Wait for me, guys, I'm coming!" And nobody had ever heard him raise his voice that high, ever. And that's when I just totally said, okay, that does it. I've got to be in on this.
I think that Top Soccer has many benefits for our players. I think initially the number one is to learn some skills in the game of soccer. Along with that, it encourages motor skills, gross motor skills, balance, a comfortableness with their bodies that some of our players don't have, and eagerness to learn new things. We see social benefits from learning how to be a teammate, how to follow rules, and how to react to other people, and sometimes how to react to unexpected situations, which is pretty tough for a lot of our kids. We also see that our families benefit from meeting other families and extending the social opportunities for their players and kids, and also the families too.
Top Soccer is important because it really lifts up the kids' spirits and stuff, and a lot of people can have a lot of fun doing it too. So.
Well, my favorite part of watching Top Soccer is watching the kids that are, like my son, an operable autistic, the kids that are closed, all of a sudden just open up, and when you pass them the ball and you praise them, it's just to see their eyes just light up, and then you just start to see them just open up more, and then they're just playing, and all of a sudden next thing you got a soccer player.
I think the number one thing that our volunteers learn is that kids are kids and people are people, and they have the same desire to enjoy sports, to have fun, to be part of a team. And our volunteers learn to know our kids as kids first, and they don't see the disabilities or challenges as being primary to these kids. They become their friends.
Physically, socially, and mentally, Top Soccer has really helped my kids. Both of them have autism spectrum disorder, so socially they have a hard time. Here they're with kids who are very similar to them, and so they can relate, talk to them, have fun with them. So it's helped there, and with the self-confidence and their self-esteem.
We're getting sweaty.
The more people that are giving and helping each other along, the easier it is for everybody. That's with soccer, that's with the community, that's just with everything, I believe.
It's easy to see why Top Soccer is one of my favorite USU soccer programs. Overcoming obstacles is what makes us stronger, and former U.S. women's national team player Michelle French is one of the strongest. We heard from a viewer who had heard Frenchie's story and thought that it was worth sharing.
My name is Michelle French. I am the head coach of the U.S. Women's Under-20 national team.
Yes, you're standing still. No, stand up. That's smart.
When I was young, I think one of the biggest things soccer taught me was just how important it is to be committed, how important it is to love what you're doing, and how important it is to just make sure every day that you go out there and play that you're giving everything that you have, because that can resonate in the rest of your life in a lot of different areas.
Good. You have about 30 seconds to do whatever.
Being from Seattle, one of my biggest inspirations/role models was Michelle Akers, because she was living the dream, so to speak, being on the national team. I also looked up to Christine Lilly and Mia Hamm at the same time, because they were younger players that were extremely successful with the women's team. So they were very inspiring.
Do I need to be closer or further away?
Well, anytime that you can put on a jersey that has your country's shield on it, it's a pretty incredible feeling. The camaraderie amongst the team, the dedication, the competitiveness, and the overall absolute joy just to be doing what you love every single day is pretty special. So I feel very fortunate that I was able to have that experience. I think it meant everything in the world. As I said, when I was younger, it was something that I always wanted to be able to have an opportunity to do. So to have put in the time and the work and actually get there was pretty incredible. And I felt, as I said, I felt really lucky. To know that as you get older, the pool gets smaller and smaller, and your opportunity to make that team gets smaller and smaller. So to actually be chosen to be a part of it was very special for me. I think soccer is unique for a couple reasons. When you're watching, or actually when you're playing, or when you're coaching, anything can happen. So you can be stressed out and nervous one minute, and then with one turn or one shot, you can be elated and, pumping your fists and jumping up and down. So I think the unpredictability of soccer makes it exciting. And then, as a lot of people have already said, it's a universal language. Almost every country plays it. So it's an incredible opportunity to go to different places, and even though you don't verbally speak the same language, bust out a soccer ball and everybody knows what to do with it. So I think it's very unique in that regard. I found out I was diagnosed with cancer in 2008. I just found out basically because when I was exercising, I had shortness of breath, just a lot of abnormal things going on with my body. So I went and got it checked out, and they diagnosed me with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was an experience that hopefully not a lot of people have to go through, but at the same time, it really taught me about how important family, friends, and the soccer community are, because once something happens in your life sometimes that you don't have a lot of control over, the amount of people that step up, reach out to you, really shows how much people really care. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I learned going through the experience that I did. I think I maintained a pretty positive attitude throughout the entire process, simply because I have been an athlete, and you just get used to dealing with adversity. I may have not wanted to admit the enormity of what was actually going on, but at the same time, I felt confident in what I was doing. I felt confident in how healthy I was, so it wasn't ever something that really got me down in the dumps very often.
Good, because I know I had a fantastic time. I love getting to know all of them.
I think the first thing that you have to have when you're a young player and trying to figure out how can I be the best I can be, you have to first and foremost love the game, because everything else is easy for you, and it's not a sacrifice if you love playing. So when you love playing, you're committed. When you love playing, you want to go out on your own and work on things. You're dedicated. You're able to manage your time, and so the biggest thing, you have to love what you're doing, and then everything else kind of falls into place. It's important for me to give back to the community of soccer, because soccer has shaped who I am today. It's given me a platform to help influence and change a lot of kids' lives, and I take that responsibility really dear to my heart, because one, not a lot of people have that opportunity, but also I am who I am because I played the game.
This season, we had a few inspiring stories, including that of Cleveland United. The team was the first from Ohio North to claim a national championship title. Let's hear more.
These girls are very exceptional for their age. They're extremely committed, extremely disciplined, and very goal-oriented. They're basically young adults. They are very, very dedicated to their craft.
What makes us special off the field is that we're truly a family. We're sisters to each other, and nothing changes that. Whether how we play on the field or not, like off the field, we're the same to each other. We love each other and laugh and everything. Even if we lose, we're the same, and it really transfers to on the field, I think.
This summer was so exciting. As the summer progressed, they kept winning games. And before you know it, we were on our way to the national tournament. It was an awesome, amazing week, and the culmination of winning the championship just made it worthwhile.
When the last whistle blew, it was just the most amazing feeling that I've ever had. I think I jumped on one of my friends, and we were all crying, and it was just such a great feeling. Well, that last moment was unbelievable. Everything, the whole year, all that work, all the sacrifices we made, it was worth it. Just to have that feeling, and it was crazy.
Being the first team from Ohio North to ever win a national championship is absolutely an honor, being that our association is nearly 50 years old, and we've tried as a club for 26 years to achieve this goal, and to be able to do it finally is a blessing. There have been a lot of very good teams that have come before us, and probably a lot of good teams that will come after us, but we absolutely cherish that opportunity. It's a goal of ours that we wanted to make history this year, to be the first to win one for Ohio North.
It's a really awesome feeling because we know nobody can take that from us, and we're always going to have that accomplishment, and it's a really awesome feeling. We all really wanted it. We've been striving for this goal since I can't remember, and just pulling out that win just was such a relief and a great accomplishment to finally, that was my dream since I was little, so to accomplish something like that is just huge.
Playing in the National League was vital in our success this year and years past as well. It provided us, we played there last year, this is our second year that we played in it. It provided us with a very, very high level of competition, which allowed us to learn how to prepare for every single match and also stay focused for every moment that you play within those matches. And without the National League, I don't think we would have been able to be as successful as we were. Very proud of these girls for everything that they've accomplished this season, just based on knowing what kind of people they are, how hard they work at what they do, how many hours they put into it for over the past, since I've taken over the team for the past 3 years, what it means to them, how devoted they are, how much sacrifice they put into it, as well as myself, and for us together as a team to be able to achieve this is the best feeling in the world. It's something that when you put so much time and effort into something and you believe in something and it comes to fruition, you have success, there is almost no word to explain it other than just the self-gratification of how you feel once that all sets in for you.
It's time now to check in with our favorite soccer analyst, Rob Stone, and former national team player, Eric Wynalda, as they're standing by to answer your questions from our Facebook page this month. One last time, take it away, boys.
Hey kids, Rob Stone here with former U.S. men's national team striker Eric Wynalda at the Fox Soccer Studio. We're ready to answer more of your questions about the game we all love.
You get to go first. Good. Craig from Illinois would like to know, which young American players do you feel have the biggest impact on the men's national team in the future?
I'm not going young like teenager young. I'm going young as guys who've already represented the U.S. team, but maybe not a whole lot yet. Brek Shea, he has to be one of them, now playing in England for Stoke City. The other one, the off-injured with uber-talented Stuart Holden, now playing with Bolton, starting to get more playing time. I love the guys that can beat players 1v1. We don't have enough of them. Those two guys do it, and...
I like Louis Gill. Yeah, Louis Gill for the U20 national team.
And Real Salt Lake.
Very good.
In MLS. Good. Kristen from California would like to know which young American players will have the biggest impact on the women's national team in the future. Again, the Women's World Cup coming up in a couple years here on Fox.
Look, I got 2 daughters, and they're all watching Alex Morgan and what she's been able to do. She's just burst onto the scene. I think she handles herself well. I think she's very pretty. I think she's just elegant in everything that she does. So I think she's one to watch.
And the great thing about the U.S. women's program through the years, they always seem to kind of find one young talent. It's got great speed, great awareness. And there's always so many leaders on that U.S. women's national team to learn from.
Great point.
They've always kind of had that cycle going through. Until next time, get all the latest soccer news at foxsoccer.com or find us on Twitter at FoxSoccer and on Facebook.
And tune in to the next episode of U.S. Youth Soccer Show on Fox Soccer, and we're going to answer more of your questions.
Thanks, guys. If you have any questions you want to ask the guys for next year, post them to our Facebook page or send us an email to the show at ususoccer.org. And speaking of social media, we're always giving away free soccer stuff, posting action shots and more. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram for great photos, and on Twitter for the latest news and more. Okay, it's time now for a break. When we return, we'll hear about a young man whose love for soccer overtook his differences, get another little MLS Insider Storytime Theater, and hear about a new sport that's popping up all over the country. All this and more when we return to the U.S. Youth Soccer Show. Hi, and welcome back to the U.S. Youth Soccer Show. For years, I've heard about playing foot golf as a backyard training game, but never like this. A few years ago, the International Foot Golf League was established, and nowadays there are over 1,600 official foot golf courses in the United States. Let's see what this new official sport is all about.
Foot golf is like the game of golf, but playing with a soccer ball. you have to introduce the ball and the less number of kicks in a 9-hole or 18-hole course. The holes are 21 inches or 53 centimeters diameter, and the ball is the regular number 5 soccer ball.
Foot golf became an official sport in the U.S. in November of 2011. So we did our first opening tournament in July of 2012. And so, as you'll see, we're just really a little over a year on it of doing tournaments, and we have 22 courses already. So, and lots of inquiries from different golf course managers as well as players who are looking to play around the country.
It's interesting. I mean, soccer's on the rise with a lot of youth, and so has golf been ever since Tiger Woods started in the late 90s. So it'd be interesting to see if the combination of the two would get people excited.
I think it's a great way to work on your ball control and direction and passing too, because you have an objective the whole time where you want to get your ball to. So that was great for practice.
Foot golf is not just power kick it and see how far you can get. There really is a precision to it. So they will have to learn the role of the ball where it comes with the different terrain of the golf course and be able to control those shots on it, and then to be able to control their kick enough to get it into onto the green to start with and then into the hole. From what we see is that soccer players are very much more enthusiastic about kicking a ball than golfers are. Golfers are very serious here. So for us to be able to see how much the excitement of the players is, the enthusiasm level, not just for us, but for golf course owners and golfers who watch this, they want to throw down their clubs and come and kick the ball on it because they say, I don't have this much fun out on the golf course as these guys are having.
If somebody wants to find out where the closest foot golf course is, you can go to footgolf.net or americanfootgolfleague.com, and it's very easy to find the map of the courses in the United States, also in Puerto Rico, Canada, and Mexico, because we are all working together under the Federation for International Foot Golf.
Major League Soccer is full of good people and great stories. In fact, they got superfan and star of the hit TV show 30 Rock, Judah Friedlander, to share some of those awesome stories with our viewers. Let's sit back and enjoy a little MLS Storytime Theater.
Welcome to MLS Storytime Theater. I'm your host, the world champion, Judah Friedlander. Today's story is called Tony and the Jets. Step back with me to the magical year of 1994 when the USA hosted the World Cup. One of the most beloved American players was our goalkeeper, Tony Meola, a man from New Jersey, a man with one of the best mullets in American soccer history. But in 1994, after the World Cup, there was no MLS. So what was an American soccer hero to do after the World Cup ended? NFL, the other football. Just a couple of weeks after bowing out of the World Cup, he showed up in Hempstead, New York, trying out for the New York Jets. At his tryout, Meola banged kickoffs into the end zone and even made his first field goal. The Jets offered him a signing bonus of $7,000. Now, $7,000 may not sound like a lot of money today, but let's be serious. It wasn't a lot of money back then either. Unfortunately for Tony, the Jets had also just signed Nick Lowery, who was the all-time most accurate kicker in the NFL. Tony's days were numbered. Tony's first mistake, in my opinion, was losing the mullet. Tony's teammates started calling him Captain Hook. Not a good nickname in a sport where you're supposed to kick it straight. Tony was waived before opening day. But don't be sad for Tony. In 1996, Tony finally got a league of his own when MLS opened for business. And in 2000, Tony hoisted the MLS Cup for the Kansas City Wizards, which by last count is one championship trophy more than the Jets have won since they let Tony go. Coincidence? Not sure, but it's a fact. Join me next time for MLS Storytime Theater.
It's almost the end of the year, and that means the US Youth Soccer Awards Gala is right around the corner. Make sure you get in your submissions for the 2013 Goal and Save of the Year Awards. Now, earlier I told you about a young man who doesn't know the meaning of quit. We first heard about Mason Stewart and his passion for soccer from one of our viewers. She wrote to tell us the story of a 9-year-old boy whose heart far outweighs the challenges he faces every day.
Mason is your quintessential 10-year-old boy, full of energy, full of excitement, wants to run, wants to get involved, wants to touch things, but very active, high energy, just typical boy.
We found out when we were about 20 weeks pregnant that Mason would be born with bilateral club feet. And what it basically means is that his feet would turn in and sometimes up and almost wrap around the ankle to some extent, and bend in ways that our foot wouldn't bend, which would require a lot of treatment to be able to actually walk normally.
Honestly, first was a lot of questions. I didn't know a lot about it. And then I think, like naturally, like most parents, is a great deal of concern, great deal of just wondering, okay, what does that actually mean? What does that mean for my son? Will he be able to run? Will he be able to play sports? Will he be able to do all the things that I did as a kid? Everything you can imagine, I think, runs through your head.
Within moments of Mason's birth, he was, both legs were put in full-length casts that would attempt to keep his feet in a straight position. When he was out of the cast, he was in a brace that would keep his feet held apart in a firm position, hoping to train the muscles and the tendons to go in the right way. When Mason's big sister was 5, we enrolled her in a soccer league. We hadn't really thought about Mason playing soccer at that point, but the moment we hit the soccer field, he wouldn't be kept from it. Luckily, we had a pretty flexible coach, and he didn't mind that Mason threw on an extra uniform and would run up and down the field with the 5-year-olds. And I guess Mason just didn't want his sister doing anything that he couldn't do better. The year after that, when he was 5, he insisted on playing the season with full-legged walking casts. We tried to keep him limited to the goalie position, but he wouldn't stay. He'd be running all over the field in his walking casts, and to be honest, I think he had probably a real advantage over a lot of the other players because he didn't need to wear shin guards and he didn't need to wear cleats. He just went.
I'm Mason and I'm 9. I like soccer because it lets you get outside and have fun. And I really like to move around and just enjoy myself.
We've realized that all the casting and all the braces hadn't had the desired effect. So our surgeon said it was time to actually do major tendon surgery. So it was the summer before his first grade year that he had the surgery. It took 6 weeks before he was even able to put his feet back on the ground. A lot of pain the first couple weeks. He couldn't even walk at all. He couldn't stand. It took probably another 3 to 4 weeks of intense physical therapy before he could put any weight on his feet. And it wasn't until November when he could actually take his first step. And believe me, that first step he took was absolutely amazing after so many months of not even being able to stand.
From the very first time I met Mason in physical therapy, he stated, I want to play soccer again. I want to be the fastest guy on the field again. And so I was able to use that in rehabilitation to get him to do the things that he needed and wanted to do, but in such a way that the goal and the carrot was always getting back to soccer.
I'm still amazed when I think about what he's gone through and over the last few years and to where he is now. To me, when I think back, could I have done it? I don't know. It's amazing to me to see what he's gone through and where he is now. It's just phenomenal to me.
So he was back on the field that spring, the spring after his surgery, and he hasn't stopped playing soccer since.
I can tell you I'm incredibly proud to see Mason overcome these odds. What he's gone through, where he is now, and really where I think he can still go. His story is still continuing, and that to me is what's exciting. Every day he continues to amaze me with his willingness to participate, to drive. He loves to practice. That amazes me. I know a lot of people love to be in the game. He shares that same passion and energy just to come to practice. It's amazing where he is today.
Well, that's our last show for 2013. Thanks for watching. For more great soccer stories and highlights, check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/USUsoccer. We've got a lot of great videos there, and don't forget ususoccer.org for great coaching information and updates on the nation's largest youth sports organization. And if you have a story idea for the show, shoot us an email at theshow@ususoccer.org or post it to our Facebook wall. Don't forget to submit your goal and save of the year submissions ASAP. The 9th season of USU Soccer Show kicks off in April, and from all of us here, we hope you and yours have a safe and happy holiday season. Until next time, get out and get in the game.